Hi everybody. Today we want to discuss some questions from textbook. In text questions. Okay. All of you take your politics textbook. Firstly we want to discuss some questions from first chapter. We already completed 2 chapters. But today want to discuss these type of questions. Okay. Firstly, all of you want to take page number 6. Page number 6. Okay. For today's heading in text questions. Text in ullilula questions are. There is used one blue ink. Okay. These type of questions. Discuss with your teacher what do you understand by the term constitutive. Provide one example of constitutive rules from your everyday life. Why do the people of Nepal want a new constitution? That is another question. Okay. Firstly, discuss with your teacher what you understand by the term constitutive. Okay. Up here is used one term constitutive. What is the meaning of constitutive? Constitutive means essential. Okay. Essential things are too important, inevitable. The term constitutive means essential. In country like India, where different communities of people share certain beliefs and may not necessarily agree on all issues. Here is a different categories of people live together and also they share their beliefs. Thus, it becomes important to make certain rules and regulations which have to be essentially followed by each and every citizen of India. That is why here need some rules and regulations. Each and every citizen want to follow these rules and regulations. Okay. It is important for the smooth running of the country along with its diverse cultures, faith, religions, etc. Smooth running of the country. For that purpose, here want some constitutive or here is some essential things. That is the rules and regulations. Each and every citizens want to follow these rules and regulations. Okay. Constitutive rules from everyday life. In your case, now not, but going to daily school. Now here is now we are going a critical situation. That means here a big problem existed. That's why all of you stay around houses. But we know one thing, here is one process going every day or going to school daily. It is essential for every child to go to school daily. It not only helps to gain knowledge about various subjects but also inculcate various other good habits like obeying elders, respecting teachers, working in group with cooperation, following discipline, etc. Okay. If we regularly going to school, not only for study, പഠിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി മാത്രമല്ല. Okay. From there, we get some good things like obedience, അനുസരണം ഉണ്ടാവുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി, അല്ലേ? Then, respecting teachers. അധ്യാപകരെയൊക്കെ ബഹുമാനിക്കാൻ പഠിക്കുന്നതാണ്. Respecting teachers. Then, working in group activity. And also, there is some discipline. We want to follow that discipline. Then, obeying elders. മുതിർന്ന ആളുകളൊക്കെ എന്തെങ്കിലും പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അത് അനുസരിക്കുക. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കുറേ വാല്യൂസ് we get from there. അപ്പോൾ is it clear? What is my question? What do you understand by the term constitutive, or what is the constitutive rules? Constitutive means essential. Appo here is some essential rules. Each and everybody want to follow these essential rules. Okay, here we discussed one example also. Then another question, why do the people of Nepal want a new constitution? Why do the people of Nepal want a new constitution? What is the reason? People of Nepal want a new constitution because the constitution which is prevailing in Nepal was made during the monarchical form of government. Okay, listen. In case of Nepal, on that time, hearing, they demanded the constitution because constitution which is prevailing in Nepal was made during the monarchical form of government. There existed one constitution, but under the monarchical system on that time, that existed this constitution. After abolishing the monarchical system, there is democracy. They adopted democracy. Or after getting independent, they demanded new constitution. Listen, I repeat, the constitution which is prevailing in Nepal was made during the monarchical form of government. It does not reflect the ideals of the country they want Nepal to be and they have fought for. In other words, Nepal from a monarchy is converted into democratic government. Nepal from a monarchy it converted into a democratic government. So, it needs to change all its constitutive rules in order to usher in a new society. Okay, that's why there is need, okay, a new constitution, because now to shift from monarchy to democratic government. That's why they need a new constitution. Is it clear? Okay. Then page number 7. There also some questions. In what way is the class monitor misusing his power? We already discussed it. The class monitor is making wrong complaints of the innocent students to the teacher. Class monitor misusing his power. He gave some wrong complaints of the innocent students to the teacher. Thus, the innocent students neither scolded by the teacher or get punishment for not doing anything wrong. In this way, the class monitor is misusing his power. Okay, class monitor misusing his power, maybe neither his class teacher gave some punishment. Okay. Then another question, in which of the following situation is a minister misusing his power? Here 3 situations. First one, refuses to sanction a project of his ministry for sound technical reasons. Second one, threatens to send his security staff to rough up his neighbor. Calls up the police station asking them not to register a complaint that is likely to be filed against his relative. In which of the following situation is a minister misusing his power? In which situation? B and C. B, what is that? Threatens to send his security staff to rough up his neighbor. Then calls up the police station asking them not to register a complaint that is likely to be filed against his relative. Both situations have misusing. Okay. Then take page number 8. Who is in a minority in the above storyboard? In what way in this minority being dominated by the decision taken by the majority? What is the first question? Who is in minority in the above storyboard? Take page number 8. Who is there? Girls. Okay. Girls are in a minority in the above storyboard. Girls want to play basketball while boys are interested in cricket. Girls want to play basketball while at the same time boys wanted to play cricket. Their interest playing cricket. Teacher settles the problem with a show of hands. Teacher used, there is one technique, show of hands, raise your hands. As there are more boys in the class, more hands raised for cricket. As there are more boys, that's why more hands raised in the race for cricket. Thus, it is decided to play cricket in the game period. In this way, minority is dominated by the decision taken by the majority. Okay, same thing happen in case of minority and majority. Minority decided that approval. Okay, because comparatively low number in minority. Then page number 9. Why was Shabnam happy that she had not watched TV? What would you have done in a similar situation? Why was Shabnam happy that she had not watched television? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് Shabnam television കാണാതിരുന്നപ്പോൾ happy ആയത്? ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു situation വന്നാൽ what would you have done in a similar situation? The same situation, what is your opinion? Or what would you have done? Shabnam was happy that she had not watched TV because she got sufficient time to revise her last 2 chapters. Listen, today she hadn't watched television. What is the reason? No. Now, Shabnam was happy because now she got sufficient time to revise her last 2 chapters because she avoided watching television. In the test, many questions were asked from the last 2 chapters which she attempted correctly. She revised 2 chapters, that's why she could accept more questions from last 2 chapters. That's why. Then here another question. What would you have done in a similar situation? I would have taken in the same step as Shabnam took. No, the same step. Okay. Then next question. Page number 10. There is one box. Can you see? This is. Let us recap the reasons why the Constitution plays an important role in democratic societies by recalling the constitutive rules that you have read about through these examples. But here is some example. The left side there is included some example. The right side there is constitutive rules. What is the first example? The people of Nepal are writing a new constitution after the success of the people's movement for democracy. What is the constitutive rule? It lays down ideals that define the kind of country that we want to live in. That is included the constitutive rules. The second one, Suresh, the class monitor, wrongly picks on Anil, his classmate. What constitutive rules? It lays down rules that guard against the misuse of power by our political leaders. അവിടെ ഏത് കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ടീവാണ് റൂൾ ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ളത്? കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ടീവ് റൂള്, ദ റൂൾസ് ദാറ്റ് ഗാർഡ് അഗെയിൻസ്റ്റ് ദ മിസ്യൂസ് ഓഫ് പവർ ബൈ അവർ പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ ലീഡേഴ്സ്. പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ ലീഡേഴ്സ് അവരുടെ പവർ മിസ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അതിനെ ഗാർഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന, അതിനെ പ്രൊട്ടക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന റൂൾസാണ് ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ളത്. ദെൻ തേർഡ് വൺ, the girls do not get to play basketball because the boys are a majority in class. ഗേൾസിന് ബാസ്കറ്റ്ബോൾ കളിക്കാൻ പറ്റിയില്ല because the boys, that is the majority. Okay, there is constitutive rules. It contains rules that ensure that minorities are not excluded from anything that is routinely available to the majority. Okay. അപ്പോൾ here included one constitutive rule. Okay. Here we discussed the girls do not get to play basketball because the boys are a majority in the class. It contains rules that ensure that minorities are not excluded from anything that is routinely available to the majority. Next one, Shabnam decided to revise her chapters instead of watching TV. Instead of watching television, she avoided and study well. It means that we might at times feel particularly strong about an issue that might go against our larger interest. We might at times feel particularly strong about an issue that might go against our larger interest. നമുക്ക് ഏതാണോ കൂടുതൽ താല്പര്യമായിട്ടുള്ളത്. സമയം നമ്മുടെ ടി വി കാണുന്നത് ഒഴിവാക്കി പഠിച്ചതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഗുഡ് മാർക്ക് ഏൺ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയത്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണമായിരുന്നു, അതേപോലെയാണ് നമ്മളൊരു സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് പ്രിഫറൻസ് ഏതാണോ മോസ്റ്റ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള അതിന് കൊടുക്കുക, വാല്യബിൾ അല്ലാത്തത് വാണ്ട് ടു അവോയ്ഡ്. ഈസ് ഇറ്റ് ക്ലിയർ? ഓക്കെ. Then take page number 13. Page number 13. Discuss the difference between state and the government with your teacher. State and government. Difference between state and government. State refers to a political situation. State, that is a political situation that represents a sovereign people who occupy a definite territory. For example, Indian state, Nepal state. Then government. Government is responsible for administering and enforcing laws. Government is responsible for administering and enforcing laws. ഭരണം നടക്കുന്നത്. സ്റ്റേറ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ it represents a sovereign people who occupy a definite territory. Indian state, Nepal. First time state, Indian state, Nepal state, that is used. But the government can be changed by election. State എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എപ്പോഴും ഒന്ന് തന്നെയാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ കേരള സ്റ്റേറ്റ് അല്ലെ തമിഴ്നാട് സ്റ്റേറ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് എന്നും ഒന്ന് തന്നെയാണ്. ബട്ട് ഇൻ കേസ് ഓഫ് ഗവൺമെൻറ് ചേഞ്ച്ഡ്, ലിസൺ, government can be changed by election. The government is a part of the state. Okay. Next, which fundamental rights will the following situations violate? If a 13-year-old child is working in a factory manufacturing carpets, then which fundamental rights will be following the situation violated? You want to write this answer, use only pencil. First one, if a 13-year-old child is working in a factory manufacturing carpet, right against exploitation. Next, if a politician in one state decide to not allow laborers from other states to work in his state. Politician in one state decide to not allow laborers from other state to work in his state. That is the right to freedom. If a group of people are not given permission to open a Telugu medium school in Kerala, that is the cultural and educational rights. If the government decide not to promote an officer of the armed forces because she is a woman, right to equality. Is it clear? But here is different rights used. So on the basis of these examples, we understood everything. Okay. Then page number 15. The Constitution also mentioned the fundamental duties. Find out with the help of your teacher what these include and why it is important for citizens in a democracy to observe these. Listen, the Constitution also mentioned the fundamental duties, fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Find out with the help of that these include and why it is important for citizens' democracy to observe these. What are the fundamental duties? Okay, first one, to abide by the constitution and respect its deals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. To abide by the constitution and respect its ideals and institution. Ideals, institution, നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? നാഷണൽ ആന്തോ നാഷണൽ ഫ്ലാഗിനൊക്കെ റെസ്പെക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. Next one, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Next one, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Then, to defend the country and render national service when called up to do so. To promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religion, linguistic and regional or sectional diversity. ഒന്നിൻ്റെ പേരിലും വേർതിരുത്താതെ എന്താണ്? ടു പ്രൊമോട്ട് ഹാർമണി ആൻഡ് ദ സ്പിരിറ്റ് ഓഫ് കോമൺ ബ്രദർഹുഡ്, സാഹോദര്യവും സത്യസന്ധതയൊക്കെ നിലനിർത്തുക. ദെൻ to value and preserve the rich inheritage our composite culture, നമ്മുടെ പൈതൃകങ്ങളൊക്കെ കാത്തു സൂക്ഷിക്കുക. Okay, then to protect and improve the natural environment including forest, lake, rivers and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. എന്താണ്? നാച്ചുറൽ എൻവയോൺമെൻറ്റ് പ്രൊട്ടക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് ലേക്സ്, റിവേഴ്സും വൈൽഡ് ലൈഫും എന്താണ്? ലിവിങ് ക്രീച്ചേഴ്സിന്. ദെൻ ടു ഡെവലപ്പ് ദ സയൻറ്റിഫിക് ടെമ്പർ, ഹ്യൂമാനിസം ആൻഡ് ദ സ്പിരിറ്റ് ഓഫ് എൻക്വയറി ആൻഡ് റിഫോം. ഓക്കെ, എന്താണ്? മാനുഷികത അതൊക്കെ എല്ലാവരും ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യുക. നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ, ടു സേഫ് ഗാർഡ് പബ്ലിക് പ്രോപ്പർട്ടി ആൻഡ് ടു അബ്ജർ വയലൻസ്. പബ്ലിക് പ്രോപ്പർട്ടി, പൊതുസ്വത്തുക്കളൊക്കെ സംരക്ഷിക്കുക, അക്രമം തടയുക. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activities so that the nation constantly rises to a higher level of endeavor and achievement. Okay, എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് എല്ലാവരും ഒത്തൊരുമയോട് കൂടിയിട്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും? എല്ലാം നേടിയെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റും. നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യത്ത് ഒന്ന് ദാരിദ്ര്യമൊക്കെ ഇല്ലായ്മ, വിശപ്പും ഇതൊക്കെ എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും? എല്ലാം ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് അവോയ്ഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. പിന്നെന്താണ്? all spheres of the individual and collective activities so that the nation constantly rises to higher level of endeavor and achievement. എല്ലാ നേട്ടത്തിനും കൈവരിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ എല്ലാവരും ഒരേ മനസ്സോടുകൂടി ഒന്നിച്ച് നിലനിൽക്കണം. ഓക്കെ, all additional questions we discussed from our first chapter. Here is so many questions included. We already discussed everything. Listen, I gave question answers, then also give important things, and also now discussed some additional questions also. But you want to study everything. Then all of you take second chapter, chapter 2, secularism. There also included some textbook questions. Okay, page number 19. Page number 19. Reread the introduction to this chapter. Why do you think retaliation is not the proper response to this problem? What would happen if different groups followed this path? Okay, reread the introduction of this chapter to this chapter. This chapter in the introduction, reread it. In Hitler's Germany, Jews were persecuted and several millions were killed. In Hitler's Germany, there is a group of people, Jews, we say in Malayalam, Juda Vibhagam, Yehudanmar, Judanmar. Okay, they are persecuted and several millions were killed. Now the Jewish state of Israel treats its own Muslim and Christian minorities quite badly. Okay, another example. It is a form of retaliation which is not the proper response to this problem because it creates further tension and chaos in the country. It also hinders the social and economic development as the people are always engaged in minor problems. The minorities are ignored and thus feel humiliated. Here, somebody ignored or avoided the minorities and also humiliated. അല്ലേ, മനുഷ്യത്വത്തിന് നിരക്കാത്ത പ്രവൃത്തികളാണ് അവർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അവർ ന്യൂമറിക്കലി ലോ ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അവർ എന്ത് ചെയ്യാണ്, അവോയ്ഡ് ചെയ്യുക, കൊന്നൊടുക്കുക, രാജ്യത്ത് നിന്ന് ഒഴിവാക്കി കളയുക. If different groups follow the same path, there will be a state of turmoil throughout the world. It will adversely affect the international relations. ഇതിങ്ങനെ ഓരോരുത്തർ ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇത് ടർമോയിൽ ആളിപ്പടർത്തി മറ്റുള്ളവരിലേക്കും കൂടി എത്തിക്കും. ഇറ്റ് അഫക്റ്റഡ് ദ ഇൻ്റർനാഷണൽ റിലേഷൻസ്. There will be a lack of cooperation and coordination among the different communities. അപ്പോൾ it create a problem, lack of coordination and lack of cooperation. അല്ലേ, എല്ലാവരും തമ്മിലുള്ള സഹകരണവും ഒത്തൊരുമയൊക്കെ ഇല്ലാതാവും. Then page number 20. Discuss in class, can there be different views within the same religion? Yes, there can be different views in the same religion. Okay, we know that the same religion there is a different opinion. For example, in Hinduism, some people like to worship Lord Shiva while some other Lord Vishnu. Muslim community is also divided into Shia, Sunnis due to different beliefs. Okay, in case of Hindus and Muslims, there is a different beliefs. The same religion, but each community believes their own. Okay, that is the example. Then page number 22. In the above storyboard, discuss the answer given by the teacher. Storyboard given on textbook. Okay, listen. The students of the government school asked their teacher to celebrate a big religious festival in the school premises. Okay, religious festival want to celebrate the school, but teacher explained that government schools do not celebrate any religious festival because they cannot give importance to any one religion. That is the speciality. In other words, teacher is trying to explain that celebration of religious festival in government organizations means violating the aspect of federalism which is mentioned in our constitution. If government institutions trying to celebrate any religious festival, that is affected our fundamental things or our constitution, violating the constitution. That's why they are not ready to celebrate anything because here is no official religion. Okay. Next page number 23, there also one question. Government schools often have students from different religious background reread the 3 objectives of a secular state and write 2 sentences on why it is important that government schools do not promote any one religion. Government schools do not promote any one religion. What is the reason? We already discussed it. Government school should not promote any one religion because the students of a particular religion will feel inferior. If government school celebrate any religious festival, that is affected the other students. Maybe they feel inferior. They will be ill-treated or even insulted by the majority religious group from time to time. The minority students will not be able to perform their best in the school. അപ്പോൾ മൈനോറിറ്റി സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന് അവർക്ക് അവരുടെ നല്ല പെർഫോമൻസ് കാഴ്ചവെക്കാൻ സാധിക്കില്ല. എപ്പോഴും ഒരു ഇൻഫീരിയോറിറ്റി കോംപ്ലക്സ് ആയിരിക്കും അവർ മറ്റുള്ളവരായിട്ട് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വൈ അവോയ്ഡഡ് ദിസ് സിസ്റ്റം ബിക്കോസ് ഹിയർ ഇസ് നോ ഒഫീഷ്യൽ റിലീജിയൻ. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് അനദർ റീസൺ ബിഹൈൻഡ് ഇറ്റ്. Then last question from this chapter, page number 25. Can you think a recent incident from any part of India in which the secular ideals of the constitution were violated and persons were persecuted and killed because of their religious background? In Jammu and Kashmir, the non-Muslim communities are persecuted, killed and threatened by the Muslim community. Hindus are not allowed to practice their festivals and culture it is just the violation of the secular ideas of a constitution. Here is included one example. In case of Jammu and Kashmir, it is not recent data because here is I think 2006, 7, 8 on that time. This textbook. Here one example in case of Jammu and Kashmir incident, violating the secularism. That means here our fundamental right to religious freedom. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Now also we discussed some question answers from second chapter. Totally we discussed many questions from both chapters, first and second chapters. It is very very important. Okay, then next class we want to take, or we will discuss another topic from this chapter, our third chapter. Okay, to be continued on next class. All of you read your textbook very carefully and also keep these questions answer in your mind. Okay, thank you children.